Hello everyone, welcome back to another insightful video in the series on end-to-end big data pipeline. Today, we are delving into the crucial aspect of secure data management, that is bucket policies for our S3 buckets. In my last video, you might recall that we gave Amazon S3 full access to our AWS user, which is certainly too permissive. In this video, we will see how to fortify our S3 buckets with granular permissions. This is my S3 bucket, end-to-end YouTube part 3, which has multiple files and folders. I'll be applying policy on users for this bucket only. Let us first create a user. Let me name it YouTube temp user. Click on attach policies directly. And for now, let's not attach any policy. Click next, create user. Now let's create access keys. Let me select other. Click next, add some description and get the credentials. Put these credentials in your terminal. Remember, you need to have AWS CLI installed for this. Check description for the link to install it. Yeah. Now type AWS configure. It will ask you for access key ID. Whatever you're going to provide here, it will override the existing one. I'll give what I created right now. Let me copy paste it. Now, similarly paste secret key. We'll keep region as default and output format as default. Let's write the command AWS S3 ls to check if we are able to see list of buckets. Nope, we can't as expected. Let us start by giving access to a particular file of a bucket. Go to IAM users. Click create inline policy. And add this policy in the policy editor section. You can copy paste this policy from description section or also from my Medium blog. Link is attached in the description. Here we have added action. Get object for the file subtest.csv inside test folder. Click next. Give a policy name and create it. Now let's go back to terminal and try copying this file. We'll write AWS S3 CP followed by object path. And then give the location where you wish to copy it in your system. Let me write it in YouTube chapter 4 folder. Looks like it is copied. But here is a problem. We can see all the contents of the files with cat command, but it's not a directory. And why it happened? It is because we forgot a slash. We have copied this file with the name YouTube chapter 4. Instead of putting it inside this folder, here you can see YouTube ch4 is a file name. Remember, slash is very important in terms of AWS S3 commands. Now let's create a directory my S3 downloads. And write the same command with a slash. This time it will consider it as a directory and will paste file inside it. Let's go inside the directory and do ls. Yup, we can see our file copied here. Now let's do the same with other file name for which we have not given any access. Let's try subtest1.csv. Let's try to copy it. And here we can see an error message because we have not given permission to use any other object. Let's see another policy to list objects. If we try listing all buckets, we won't be able to do that. But what if we give access to list objects of a particular bucket? Go to IAM user and give access to list objects of that bucket. Here, we have given access to list bucket, and in resource, we provided ARN ID of the bucket. Now, let's create this policy and go back to terminal. If we try AWS S3 LS, even now we won't be able to list all bucket, not even the bucket for which we have given the access. However, we will be able to see contents of that bucket. So if we write AWS S3 LS and then bucket name, we can see all the files and folders present in that bucket. And if we try to see a list of objects present inside a folder of that bucket, we can also do that. Don't forget to add slash after the folder name. Yep, we are able to see the list of objects present inside that folder. Now let's talk about how to give access to all objects of a folder. Go to policies and add /* after the folder name to which you want to give access. Click next and go back to terminal. Now we will be able to copy all objects of that folder. Let's try for subtest1 and subtest2. Yep, we are able to download. But what if there are multiple objects in that folder? Many people get confused that they can download entire folder by using /*. So let's try with that command. Yeah, see, it throws some error. It is because it has considered test folder /* as some object, which it is unable to find. So the correct way is to add ---- recursive at the end to download entire folder. Let's quickly do that. Yep, now we are able to download entire files. Okay, we have talked enough about copying from S3 to local. Now let's talk about putting object from local to S3. For this, we need to give put object access to the user. Let's do that. Let's give put object access to test folder and save this policy. Go back to terminal. Now let's add a file subtest6 in our directory from where we'll be sending to S3. Write command AWS S3 CP and press enter. We can see it's uploaded. Let's check it in S3. Refresh the folder. Yep, here it is. Now, how to put all files of a folder to S3? Here again, we're gonna be using ---- recursive command. Write AWS S3 CP followed by local path, then S3 path, and then ---- recursive. Press enter and all files will get uploaded in S3 folder. Now let's come to a very interesting topic, how to sync S3 bucket folder with our local folder. So let's see. Since we are syncing, we might have to delete files or folders in S3 bucket. So first of all, we need to give delete object access to user. Afterwards, open the folder and let's make some change in our local folder. Let's add some files in a folder, delete some files, and keep some files as is. Now, sync this data folder to AWS S3 test folder. By AWS S3 sync command followed by -- delete, which even deletes files and folders. Otherwise, it will only add files which are not there. We can see all the files and folders are synced with our local directory. Now, what if we want to sync our local folder with that of S3 bucket folder? To achieve this, we just need to write S3 location before local directory location and we are good to go. So let's check it. Yup, both folders are synced. Now, how to restrict bucket objects based on IP address? Let's say we only want certain IPs to access the objects of our bucket. This we can achieve using bucket policies. We won't be attaching such policies to user, rather we'll be attaching these policies to bucket itself. Let's see how to do that. Go to the AWS documentation and I've attached the link of this documentation in description. Copy this policy as a template, then we can edit it. Let me make those changes in my policy statement. And give source IP. I'll put my IP as source IP. Go to what's my IP and copy IP address and paste it here. And let's see if I can list files present in test folder. Yep, I can. Now let me change this IP to something else. And let's see if I can run the same thing again. Nope, I can't. We can see we got access denied error. And at last, in a very rare case scenario, we can give Amazon S3 full access to the user. This is generally given to admin or owner of that S3 bucket. Let's see how to do that. This is fairly simple. Go to IAM users, click attach policies directly and search for Amazon S3 full access. And you can get all access to that bucket. So that's all for today's tutorial on attaching bucket policies. I hope you found this video informative. Feel free to drop your questions and thoughts in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you. Thank you for tuning in. I'll catch you in the next video. Happy coding.